Another quick video. Thanks to our buddies at Silver Doctors and SGT Bull, SGTreport.com. James TURK was talking with Sean from SGT Report. And in the interview, James TURK, which you can go look him up, he's been around for a while talking about this stuff, silver and gold anyways. He says this always ends the same way. Hyperinflation, $400 silver, $8,000 gold, in what he thinks is sometime between 2013 and 2015. James TURK, founder of Gold Money from Spain, is discussing how the Fed's latest actions spell doom for the dollar. James reminds us that what is happening in the United States right now, right this very second, thanks to the privately owned Federal Reserve Central Bank, again, privately owned, it always ends in disaster. It's the same way. It ends in the same way, and the disaster is always against the currency of which this is taking place on, or what country it's in, etc. And in this case, it's the euro for sure, but it's also the United States dollar, because our Federal Reserve is doing what their central bank's doing. Again, these are the same privately owned entities across the world. And they have it to where you can never see or get the information on who actually owns the private entity. At least it's just, you can't look. No one's allowed to see. What do you suppose, or who do you suppose we would see on the list in America and around the world as the owners of each central bank? You don't think it's the club, do you? The banker boys, the JP Morgan Chases, the Citigroups, the Bank of Americas, the too big to fail banks. You don't think they're like members of the boards type of situation on the Federal Reserve or central banks, do you? And even if that's not true at all, who does the central banks keep giving money to? The too big to fails. Who keeps putting high-level players in our government at key positions within the finance side of our entire government? Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, those are the two main ones you always see. So even if there wasn't really an owner of the central bank, it sure as hell is in cahoots with the top banks, and they just a revolving door back and forth. You go into the government, look the other way. When you're done with that job, we give you a phenomenal job over at JP Morgan or wherever, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Top pay, great salary, have a nice day. New person that we're going to have the president appoint into that position that you left, one of our other guys from the same bank, etc. It wouldn't matter anyways. But I'm pretty sure if we could look at who actually owns it, you would see it's the bankers. That's who owns it. Which is why they gave themselves the bailout money, naturally. So I'm going to post a link to Silver Doctors here. He's got a couple of interviews from part 1 and part 2 from SGT Bull. And it's an interesting video. Not that you're going to like glean any light into something really new. This is just solid for the prices of gold and silver going to the freaking moon in price. So as I've said, sometime in the near future. When I say this is a few years away, like I said, I always say I'm not talking decade out, 20 years, 15 years. We're talking in the next few years. That's it. And I started really harping about, on as far as videos go, on YouTube in 2010. So it's 2 years now. It's about to be 2013 here shortly. So let's just say from 2010, you had to wait 5 years to see silver go from 10, 12, 15, etc. dollars an ounce to 30, 40, 50, back down to 25, 35. We're currently at 35, back to 50, 75, 100, whatever. 200, 300, wherever it ends up, you had to wait 5 years. As I said, JSNP 4's version of the word long-term retirement, saving your financial livelihood. When I use the word long-term, most people would look at that as extremely short-term. So bear with me when I use the word long-term. I'm only talking several years maximum. And that stems from me in 2010. Well, we're 3 years into it. We're just 3 baby years into the time frame where this can happen. And I have a video to this day. I want to say it was October of 2010, I think. I probably could have looked it up real quick, but I will look it up. Just because I'm that kind of guy. Google JSNP4 silver to explode. 1 to 2 years max. Silver prices to May 11th, 2010. Silver prices to explode. 1 to 2 years max. YouTube. May 11, 2010. I said that. I believe the current, let me see if I have it in the notes here, in the description of the current price.
What happened?
It's been around $18 recently. That's my comments in there, and that's true. May 11, 2010. It's around $18 currency, bumping around in that area, bouncing around. Silver to explode. 1 to 2 years max. It hit $50 in 1 to 2 years max. Isn't that incredible? Old novice JSNP4 sitting on his recliner back in the day, before I even had the little fake green screen crap in my laundry room. Although I think I did do videos in there too, actually. I didn't have a green screen. Why, am I trying to blow smoke up my rear end, sit high up upon my pedestal right now? No. That lets you know that I know what I'm studying. It makes sense to me. I was trying to let everybody know then this is what's coming. We've since then seen $18 turn to $50, and it only took about a year later. Headline, max 1 to 2 years. That's it. It was exactly a year later, basically. Almost exactly to the date 1 year later that it did explode to $50 from 18. That's a massive explosion, by the way, in any stock. And in case, I'm talking about physical silver, but again, it's traded on Wall Street, and that's what sets the price. But we're back to 35, and even then, 18 plus 18 is 36. We're there right now. It's doubled 2 years later now, right? 2011 was 1 year, 2012, 2 years, maybe several months, whatever. It's still $36. It doubled from 18. That's a fantastic ride for a year, 2 years later. In any stock, for God's sakes. And I have the audacity to continually tell people, as I've said in probably those early videos too, if you think those prices are high, wait till it goes to the real high, the balloon high, the bubble high. And yes, gold and silver will become bubbles. They will become bubbles when the sheep figure it out. That's an asset, that's worth money, that's something I want. Not only do I want it, I need it to survive in this destruction of my monetary system and my retirement. Then they'll want to go get it. Then there's going to realize there's a problem with you getting it. There's a little bit of delays in ordering it and delivering it, and the price is going up exponentially. That's around the time they figure it out. But then that's when the feeding frenzy occurs. And we're still sitting with our gold and silver in our safes just on standby. And again, you can forget gold. Go ahead if you want to. You'll be happy. You're going to be extremely happy with silver, though, as I said. And we'll sit and wait. And then all the sheep will come into there, causing, $100, $200 an ounce silver to become $300, $400, $500, $600 an ounce silver due to the crises that will be then taking place, and not enough people being able to get their hands on precious metals. That's right around the time old JSNP4 is going to be selling his. Yes, for paper money. Yes, for paper U.S. dollars at the time. Why? Because everything in our country still works off of paper U.S. dollars. All the debt we all have are in, right now, current U.S. dollars. So if you had 2010 $18 silver, let's call it $20 silver, and the price just went to $200, that's a 1,000% increase in profit. Do you think bread's going to go up 1,000% in price? No. No, it's not. Gasoline, is it going to go 1,000%, 10 times? In other words, are we going to see $40 gas per gallon? No, we're not. Bread, that's, $2, $3, and, let's call it $3 for a loaf. Well, it's fine, not 3. Let's call it $2 for a loaf of bread. 2 times 10, 10, that would be $20 for a loaf of bread. Now, it could get there with hyperinflation. It's not going to stay there. Nothing ever does. So the key is, get in when the bubble occurs in silver. It's going to go way higher. And again, that was a $200 example. of silver when it was 20. $200, that's 10 times the amount. But I didn't say $200 is going to be the low for silver, or the high for silver, excuse me. It's going to be hundreds of dollars when the bubble occurs. $400, $500, $600 an ounce silver could very well happen. And then that becomes 10 times your value, 20 times your value, 30 times your value, 40 times your value that you bought in at silver. Assuming you bought in at $10 or $20. You're not going to be upset if you bought in at 40 or 50 or 30 or 20. You're going to be real happy in those cases. So I'll post these links, and that's all I got for you. Take care.